HIV do its thing and cause damage in the human body, explain that. You'd have to have a good understanding of the immune system. And
Not really, man. They explain it to us in elementary school. They make us watch videos on it.
Not like after school special. I'm talking about the biology of it. Like CD4 cells. Like, come on, like, you know what I mean? It's what they ask us.
I don't know what you mean. So what I would do is I would Google CB4 cells, right?
CD4,
and then I would
you have a plus on the end.
I would immediately know what they are, right? So you said it was CB4 or CV4?
D like dog.
Oh, D4. CD4.
Plus.
And that was a cell.
And what you're going to find is it's not really a specialized cell. It's an immune cell that contains a certain receptor, right? But what they ask us, like when they
T
test
helper
us,
cell.
like, yep. Do you know what T helper cells do?
I don't actually.
So
I know that there's T cells. I know what killer T cells do, but I'm not sure about helper T cells.
Are you not satisfied, Chief? The point that these guys were saying is that Google can't give you this knowledge, and you said, I argue that it can, and then they asked you some what's deemed to be pretty basic stuff in physiology, and with using Google you couldn't answer it. So can you see?
Okay, so they're like the mercuries of the immune system. They signal immune cells to activate, and they can also help produce antibodies as well. But yeah, they're like the little messengers of the immune system.
Well, it's not. I'd say B cells play that role a bit. I don't know. But the point is, when I'm taking a physiology class, what they test us on is they say, imagine a pathogen that has this function. What would it do in the body?
Right.
And you can't answer that on Google. Like,
bet. Test me right now. See, the difference is I'm willing to test myself in public, and you're not.
Chief. No. Here, let me explain Alex's, because my background is in education. So the highest level of sort of like learning is the ability to synthesize and integrate and create
exactly
answers.
Exactly.
You take the building blocks you can Google, and then you solve a novel problem with it.
Exactly.
And if you can do that, then you've got pretty good mastery of this.
Exactly.
I don't think you can get on Google and do that, dude.
You can. I do it every day, and I can demonstrate it right now.
I think that you are overestimating your capability.
Well, the difference is that I'm willing to test the theory, and you guys are not willing to test it yourselves.
We tested.
But you don't have the knowledge base to test me.
That's an assumption on your part that I could actually also debunk, and demonstrably debunk. I can repeatedly demonstrably. Yeah. So let's run the test.
I have shown that we are not at the same level of knowledge in this subject, which is fine.
That's okay.
But that usually means if I want somebody to test me on it, they should know the answers.
Sure, right.
And I think you've demonstrated that you don't have that type of knowledge yet.
Well, so are you willing to take my test?
I have taken the tests that matter, and they come with a grade.
I'm going to take that as a no, right? That's a pretty clear no, right?
Yeah, I'm not willing to answer your questions because
so
I think you're wrong.
The fast way to answer that question. So you would agree the fast way to answer that question would be no, right?
No, hang on. He's not under scrutiny here. He's not made any claim. We claimed that you can't use Google for this kind of knowledge. You said yes, you can, and you couldn't.
And I can demonstrate it. Yeah, actually.
You named the lungs. You named the lungs as something incorrect. Now you're trying to turn around.
I think I've actually demonstrated that. I think you guys got triggered by how easily I demonstrated how wrong you were about the subject, and you aborted the test before I did. Yeah, Alex Boltz aborted his own test before I did.
Right. So, okay, I have one more question for you, Chief. I'm sorry. How does miasma theory explain how we get sick?
Miasma.
Yeah.
I know the answer to that one. That's a good one.
I have a question for him next.
So I honestly don't know myself, but I'm going to use Google real quick, and I'm going to answer your question. Okay. Autoimmune disorder, neuromuscular disorder, causes weakness in the skeletal muscles, responsible for activities like breathing and movement. It can be caused by the body's immune system producing antibodies that block or destroy communication between nerves.
Hold on, slow down. What did you look up? Because to Alex's point, you're nowhere even near the mark.
Yeah, okay, I think I may have spelled it wrong. Miasma, M-I-A-S-M-A.
Yeah, that's it.
Miasma?
Yeah, MIASMA.
Okay, so that I was describing myasthenia. So miasma
Yes.
is an outdated medical theory attributed to diseases to bad air or harmful fumes emanating from decaying organic matter.
That is
So
correct.
it
And
could
so I'm
be
asking
like
you to kind of
breathing in
explain how that.
stinky things, right?
I'm asking you to explain, how that shows how we get sick by things.
My dude, you're describing an outdated medical theory that attributed disease to bad air.
I mean, for a second guess, that's pretty good. If I was speaking to an expert, they would have gotten it on the first one, and they went miasma theory?
Although,
Like the plague doctors?
although there is an element of truth because bacteria do grow in, for example, areas where, like decaying corpses and things like that. So staying away from quote unquote bad air keeps you away from the pathogens.
Right. So like the modern way would be to say bacteria or viruses or pathogens, airborne pathogens.
Chief, you don't. I'm just. You don't have the breadth and depth of knowledge in every single field on this planet.
I hope that makes you comfortable enough to defend your degree in public.
What? I can defend my degree.
What's your degree in?
That's
So what's your
what you
degree
did,
in?
actually.
So what's your degree in?
Health communication. Although I will be the first to say that. I will be the first to say that my research was back in the late 80s, 90s. So I haven't, and in my work, in my career, I left academia. So I would say, yeah, I am not current in the state of the art in my field.
Oh, so you're saying you dropped out, you stopped studying your own field?
No, I changed careers because you see, my focus was on my doctorate was on the application of digital technologies or computers and health communication, which was pre-internet. When the internet showed up, there was no research on this because it didn't exist. So I spent my career working on the internet, but not from a research perspective, from a consultant perspective, helping clients use digital tools to communicate complex health information.
So you're no longer proficient at medical communication?
Yeah, yes, but I didn't do research in it because the internet didn't even exist. There are people that have done research in it, and I'm not current in that research today because I'm now retired.
But this is a good example of how knowledge is so compartmentalized. Like expertise. To be an expert in something, you need to be an expert in something specific. There are, I guess, generalized experts. Do you
notice how I'm not an expert and I was able to kind of like have a conversation about myopia really quickly? Like it took less than 30 seconds.
What is what we're talking about? Myopia is with your eyes.
I'm sorry. What did you call it? See, I don't even know what it is.
Conversation. That's the point.
Miasma, exactly. Right? You called it miasma or something, right?
That is its name.
That's what it is.
Miasma. Yeah, something I didn't even know about. I was able to actually inform you about in less than a minute.
No, the first time you were wrong, I had to correct you.
You're dangerous. You think a little bit of knowledge gives you expertise, and you don't even know what you don't know. You are literally an explanation of the done.
I think y'all are just slow learners. I think y'all are slow learners, and you're observably afraid of taking the test that I'm willing to take in public.
What are you talking about?
Your test is Googling things. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an ability to demonstrate aptitude on a subject, right?
But you didn't. You weren't able to demonstrate that.
From Google.
Now,
you can't apply that knowledge.
So, you couldn't even do that, right?
Right. So when I challenged the host, I said, okay, well, what is your degree in? Medical communications, right?
No, it's not medical. It's health communications.
Health communications.
Health behavior, actually. Yes. I was in a school of public health, which was not a school of public health at the time because that's a long story. Now they're in school of public health. But I have my doctorate in health communication. So I had background in health behavior change, health communication, but my focus was digital communication. Actually, my dissertation, was on the use of computer-aided models in health behavior change.
So
which I quickly abandoned when the internet showed up because I got a job with this brand new thing because I was the closest thing to anybody knowing anything about,
That's cool.
how to use this new tool.
That's cool. That's relatable. So let me just ask you a question. Like, are you familiar with surgeons using YouTube as a learning tool to help them in surgery?
I am not familiar with that. I'm sure, given the way YouTube is now, I'm sure they use all sorts of things. I used a tool, Plato. This is pre-internet because the universities were connected. A tool called Plato, which was sort of monochrome screen. We're talking ancient computer technology to learn, and a game called Bugs and Drugs, which was fun. It was a roguelike game that
That's
actually has.
cool, but I mean, it's not saving
I have a
anyone's
very good
life. You know what I mean?
example.
Whereas
Yes.
what I'm describing
I understand
is
what you're
something
saying.
like.
I don't know what the state of medical education is right now. I'm not an expert in that area.
Well, what I'm suggesting is that neither am I, right?
Yeah, but I guarantee you that.
But I've already demonstrated a level of depth that is beyond what you're currently aware
No, you
of, right?
haven't.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about
You were wrong like
surgeons
3
using
times in a
I'm
row,
talking
like,
about
guess we're all
surgeons using
experts.
YouTube in surgeries they've never performed before, right? I have a
I
level of
also
depth on this
that,
subject
but,
that you are currently not aware of. I think we can all agree on that, right?
I
I think many are not aware of your depth.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
even sure what you're saying is true because.
Right,
I
because
don't
you
think
haven't
any-
researched it. You don't know. You haven't read the papers, right?
Of course, yes, it's not my field of expertise.
Right.
Right.
Well,
What's the point?
I'm trying to understand your field of expertise. Actually, maybe I misunderstood it.
Do you understand what their point was, or what they were trying to?
He doesn't understand what we're talking about.
No, I don't understand his field. Yeah, I don't understand exactly what his field.
No.
I don't understand what health communications is. So maybe you can
point did you
explain
come
what
up to
health
debunk?
communications
Hey,
is,
Chief,
because I have a different idea.
Hang on. Can you explain to us what you came up to debunk?
The soul. I think I have a really good argument for the soul.
Chief, what's the current state of the art? If you want to change someone's behavior, health behavior in a positive direction,
Right.
Let's say your job is to help somebody stop smoking, lose weight, any health behavior.
Right.
What's the state of the art in research that says what's the best model to follow in order to do that? The science behind that. What's the best science behind that you'd build your plan upon?
Systems science.
What's that?
Systems science.
What are you saying? Say that word again.
Systems.
Systems?
Systems.
System.
You know, like a
Okay,
system.
that's bullshit. Give me actually a
Okay.
citation of a researcher and a model name, please.
What's systems? What are you talking about?
You know,
No. Let him go. I'm sorry. Find,
You know, like
find
a-
the current state of the art. This is good. Here's
a
an
group of
integration
logic
question.
gates, that allow for
No,
a process
well,
to
that's- you're
happen in a
wrong.
repeatedly
You're wrong.
demonstratable way.
Hey, Chief, how would you go about finding out what the state of research is in health behavior change? Or I said, give me the best advice that you give somebody when they're starting any kind of health behavior change program, and base that advice on scientific research that has been done. Now, my knowledge is old. I will grant it. It's back from the 80s, 90s. I don't know what the most current is. But if you come even close to what I know, I'm happy to hear it.
Okay, yeah. What I would recommend for someone, say, trying to lose weight, stop smoking, right?
I'm not saying what you'd recommend. Show me the science behind your recommendation. Like, show me the model, the scientific research.
You want like a
that
paper?
says-
You want me to cite a paper for you?
See, this is what you're ignorant about. There's not just one paper. There's many, many papers.
A
and
meta
it's based
study.
on
Would a
certain
meta study
models.
make you happy?
It's not a meta study, dude. See,
A meta study.
This is what you're missing. The state of the art in health behavior change. Name a researcher who's seminal in that research and tell me about his model.
Dr.
and
Michael
explain what it
Persinger.
said.
Dr.
What's
Michael
that?
Persinger. There's maybe one guy I can name off the top of my head.
Michael who?
Persinger.
And what's his model?
A magnetic. He actually has a theory for. You're gonna love this. You guys are gonna lose your shit. Hold on to
No,
your
you're
pants,
already
guys.
wrong.
Yeah,
You're
for
already
sure,
wrong.
no doubt. I'm totally wrong, and you guys are super smart and right about everything, right?
Yep, I am.
But yeah, there's no doubt. But his model is that there's it's a magnetic model for psychic activity, basically. And
Okay, so you're not. So what you're doing is you're just deflecting here. So let me say it again, so you can understand with your pea brain. There's a body of research in recommended steps and processes one takes when they're doing health behavior change. It's not based on guesses. It's not based on people's just bullshit. It's based on research. There are many seminal papers and people in the field that have done this fundamental formative research. Name it, talk about it, and explain it to me.
Yeah, Dr. Michael Persinger has a theory.
No, that is not one of them. You are incorrect.
I don't think you really want to have this conversation. I feel
I
like you're
do.
running
I'm
from the
having this
debate right
conversation
now.
right
I
now.
feel like you're running from the debate kind of in an observable
You're
way.
still here, aren't you?
Yeah, you're not allowing me to
If we
speak.
don't want to have it,
Yeah,
we can make
you guys are
leave.
filibustering. You're not allowing me
No.
to speak, and I think
So-
this
so,
pretty much
okay,
demonstrates.
No,
Okay,
Go.
Chief. Let me explain it again to you. Name me one person who is a seminal scientist in health behavior change, the body of knowledge that is health behavior change, and tell me what he said.
Okay.
It shouldn't be hard.
Would Tony Robbins be an example?
No, see, Tony Robbins is not. That's a self-help
Did-
guru. See, Here's
Did he get
the
a
point.
PhD? Well, did he get a
You are
PhD? Did he
unaware.
get a PhD?
I don't. It doesn't matter. You're unaware.
You don't think
of
that
the
matters
field.
in the answer to your you see how you're running from your own questions now?
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad
unaware.
we agree. I'm glad we're at the same level now. Thank you.
So
That's good.
I mean,
Right.
no, we're not the same level. See, you're ignorant.
Tony Robbins doesn't have a PhD. He does not.
All right, good looking out. So that would be not a good example. Let's see. How about fucking? What's
so
another
here's,
one?
Here's the whole point: is that you're
How about
talking
Jordan
bullshit.
Peterson? Right? Is Jordan
not
Peterson
Jordan
an example?
Oh my god!
You know what's crazy? No, this is a good example because Jordan Peterson was an expert in his specific field. Like we still reference in the world of psychology some of the work he did.
Yes.
But no, hold on. But the things he do, his like maps of meaning, his Bill C-16,
Hilarious.
that is not his field of expertise, and he was wrong about it.
It's okay.
Outside of
It
his
was
field.
a brilliant book,
In his-
honestly.
What?
So I'll give
Maps
you
of
hints.
Meaning. I mean, the one where he had his grandma
About-
fantasy. The whole book was worth the grandma fantasy.
See, this guy just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I don't think you know about the
Who are some
grandma
of the
fantasy.
experts in public health, dude? Who are some of the seminal researchers in public health?
Dr.
who
Michael
created some of the
Peterson.
behavioral change models that we know
Wait,
today?
what's his name?
It's pretty easy
Jordan
if you knew
Peterson. Is it
anything.
Jordan Peterson?
No, Jordan. See, again, seminal.
The
You know what that
psychologist.
word means? You don't even know what that word means.
What does seminal mean? Do you know what it means?
Yeah, of course it does. When you do your lit review, you go back and find the papers that had the most profound impact in that particular field of study. That
I thought it had something to do with the pea brain comment you made earlier because I thought it was like related to like
Well, you're
seminal
an idiot
fluid.
because you're making claims that you just can't substantiate. Anybody can Google anything. You cannot learn is evidenced by your bullshit.
So I mean, honestly, I thought that seminal was something related to semen, but
No, because you're dumb.
am I wrong?
Yes.
The seminal vesicles, which is a biological term, yes, does. But the word seminal also means, a primary. And the fact that you didn't know it has multiple meanings shows your ignorance.
Can you provide an example of like a definition where seminal means primary?
Yeah,
Is
sure.
this the topic that the hill that we're dying on?
We are.
Yeah, I don't think that's what that word means.
Okay, let's look at the Oxford English Dictionary. Seminal, of or relating to seed, having possibilities of future development, highly original and influencing the development of future events. A seminal artist, seminal ideas, synonyms, innovative, formative, primary, germinal.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. All right, so seminal.
Why, by the way?
So like
it
you mean like
relates
semen
to
fluid?
Because semen seed, they all have a
Right. So yeah,
origin.
that's what the word means. I think it's kind of like a metaphor, right? That's when people
No,
are
it's not
speaking
a metaphor.
metaphorically,
It's
Latin. What are you
right?
talking about? It's not a metaphor. It's Latin.
The word
it's
comes,
exactly-
but
it's
where does the
Latin.
word come from, my dude?
It doesn't
Latin.
matter where the origin
And what does the
is.
word mean in Latin? What does the word mean in Latin?
I
Does it
said
matter?
I'm referring to seed. What are you talking about?
What kind of seed do you think that word refers to in Latin?
Oh my god, I can't with this guy anymore.
I don't think you could
But,
begin
oh
with.
my god, I can't with this guy anymore. I just can't. What a moron.
I had like 3 in the chamber. I was like,
I mean, so the dude, this is what gets me is that, look, I'm not an expert in health behavior change in the modern day, but I did my dissertation. I know what, I could probably go back and even recite a lot of the stuff. And I never used it in my career because I focused on the internet, which nobody knew shit about. And that's the thing. And even today, like, since I'm retired, I don't know what the latest research is in social media and health communication, because I'm not...
is the answer, by the way, is it like, it's not biopsychosocial, right?
No,
like,
dude,
to motivate
Larry Green did the precede-proceed model.
Okay.
He was a...
That was really bizarre, that conversation. You said another meaning for it is primary, and he said, I don't think so. And you went to the dictionary and said, you admitted that it meant seed, and that also primary. And then he was like, see, it does mean seed. And you're like, you didn't say it didn't mean seed. You said it also meant primary. And because you said it meant, I was just so deluded that I couldn't believe what was coming out of his mouth.
Well, I just can't believe people are like that. Like, people usually have those beliefs by accident. Like, they do the same things that he does, and just like that self-justifying thing by accident. But he just said it
Because
And
he
it's
chose
yeah,
a
I believe
hilarious
this. I'm like,
word.
I can't
am I wrong? Isn't he a literal walking example of the Dunning-Kruger effect? Like, he doesn't
Yeah,
know what
spot
he doesn't
on.
know.
Yeah,
Crazy.
exactly. Because the point you guys made was that you can't Google this knowledge. And he came up and within one sentence, he'd already said the lungs and went, no, that's not one of them. And then he still insisted that he'd proven you wrong. I don't know what else you could have done.
We quizzed him like 3 times and he was wrong every single time.
Hey, Shocking Hazard, what's up? Are you 18 or older?
Just out of curiosity, would you consider Kahneman on your list?
Who?
Daniel Kahneman.
I don't know who that is.
He's well known for behavioral economics, but the psychology of like
Kahneman.
you could look it up. It'll probably be easier. And
I'm looking him up. He was not in any of my research. He wrote as a historian, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know if you realise that when you're not on the app that we can't hear you, just in case you're talking right now, Shocking.
Behavioral economics. No, I'm not familiar with that because the work at my school, we had sociologists and psychologists and no economists, so I'm not familiar with it.
Well, he was primarily in psychology, but he worked with, or he was in economy working with psychologists, one or the other. But the idea is that like classical models and whatever of economics, we're factoring in behavioral components. So there's a lot there that came out with like loss aversion and how people make decisions based on loss aversion and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with that. I'll be honest, so my PhD, so in my graduate school, I had to have a track of health behavior. I had to have a track of a variety of things. I did not focus on health behavior. I really focused on the use of digital. I was big into computers back before pre-internet and how we can use these digital tools to influence behavior. And there was not a lot of research. Matter of fact, my advisor, I went to the school I went to because he had a PhD in computer science and a master's of public health and was one of the leading people. Again, emergent thing of computers, right? Back in the late 80s, early 90s, not a lot going on. And so that's where I was focused. Less from the health behavior. I mean, I had fundamental courses in it. I had to do my comprehensives on it, and all that stuff, but it wasn't my area of research. Look, I'm happy because when the internet came on board, I could take all this knowledge that I knew about how digital tools can be used to influence behavior and basically put them to use in the practical world and kind of follow the research as it was happening. We convened a bunch of public health experts for the federal government to talk about the internet and how best it could be used and put together a white paper about how this new thing called the internet might be used to effectively change health behavior in America for positives. It was pretty cool. I mean,
do you think we should ban AI, generative AI?
My personal opinion is so generative AI. I mean, like any technology, that's good and bad. I mean, what I think is
regulate, I should say.
So, I don't know. So, I'll give you some anecdotal things. A good friend of mine's an artist, and he has now turned his art 100% generative AI. But
I don't like that. Sorry, keep going.
So, and I'll see him next week, and we'll talk about it. But he's had gallery exhibitions twice of his AI work where he's using